Dope. Let's grab this first one. We haven't done a division problem, or maybe we have. A day or so, maybe. Anyway, 6,829 divided by 4. Hopefully you can see that okay. Start there. To get finished, try and check it. Okay, I'm going to jump in here. Keep going if you're still working on this, but how many 4s can we get out of 6? Or what's the most we can get out of 6? Just 1. We subtract it. We've got 2. We bring down the 8. All right, everybody. What's the most 4s I can get out of 28? 7. Which is 28. Now we bring down this 2. How many 4s can we get out of the 2? 0, and we have to show that or our number will not be big enough in our answer. Okay, 4 times 0 is 0, and subtract that, and then bring down the 9. That step right there, which sometimes feels unnecessary, is like, why do we have to subtract that 0? Blah blah blah. It keeps the 0 up here where it's supposed to be. So now, what's the most 4s we can take out of 29? Well, probably this one right here. Okay. And when you subtract, you've got a 1 left, which becomes remainder. How many of you got that? 1,707 with a remainder of 1. We checked it real quick. No space. 1,707 times 4 plus 1 would be 7,200. 7,029. Okay, so is that what we should have had? No. No. So what happened?
Did you do this on purpose?
What happened?
Oh.
You guys have got to become good at figuring out what happened. Mason, what's your thought?
You multiplied it wrong.
Here? Here? So everybody feels like this is right, but this is wrong?
Yeah.
That's the general feeling? Okay, so where in the multiplication did something go wrong? Yeah.
When you multiply by 7 the second time, instead of putting the 2 over the 1, you put 3.
Okay. 4 times 7 is 28. Put the 8, carry the 2. 4 times 0 is 0, but with 2 more, you're going to have 2. 4 times 7, again, is 28. But I just jumped to 30. Why would I have jumped to 30? What did I see that made me think that was correct?
The 2.
Okay, this 2, it's almost like my mind jumped backwards and saw that 2 and added it, okay, and went to 30 when it shouldn't have. So let's get rid of that. And this, I think we were okay until that point. So that's 28, that should be an 8 there, and a 2. 4 times 1 is 4, 5, 6. 6,828, and that plus 1 would be 6,000. Erasing in this mode is not good. 6,829. Trying to clean it up without having to use that eraser. I hate the eraser when we're in this mode. Anyway, all right, good job catching the error. That is one thing, if you can catch where somebody has gone wrong and figure out how to fix it, it's a great skill to have. It shows that you really know what you're doing, okay? All right, let's do at least one more. No, right here. 4 times 2, 6. Get that out of the way. 4 times 2, 6. What would we get? All right. Help us out here. 4 times 2, 6. And even if you are not 100% down, I want you to stop and I want you to look up here. Okay? Everybody's watching, because what I want you to see is, did you start this correctly? Because I'm seeing a big mixture of things on our boards. Okay? So if we've got, let me just write it a little bit bigger. If we've got 4 times 2, 6, tell me what I would do first. We can't forget these things we've just had. What would I do first? What do you think?
Put a number bond on the 4.
A number bond on the 4?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, we don't need to start with a number bond. That's not necessary. What was your first step?
You need to multiply 4 times 2.
Okay. So the very first step would be to multiply 4 times 2. Okay. So when we do that, we get 8. What's the very next step?
What I said.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah.
You say how many 6s you go down to 8.
Okay, because what needs to be under this 8?
Denominator.
Yeah. We keep that same denominator. Do we multiply the 4 times the 6 at any time? No. And I kept seeing the number 24 on several boards, and it made me wonder, because 4 times 6 is 24, where are we getting that? Because we shouldn't be seeing a 24 on your board. Okay? When we are multiplying a fraction by the whole number, we don't change the denominator. It stays the same. 4 times 2 is 8. Just bring over your same denominator. I'm going to have to take it. Okay. You got one too? Have you got one too? Just put it away if you do. Alright, what does that become? How many times can we get 6 out of 8? Charlotte? One time. 2 6 are left over. So this is 1 and 2 6. So 1 and 2 6. That's the 4th grade answer. What would the 5th grade answer be? What could you do to 2 6? Think about division. Yeah. 1 and 1/3. Okay. That's supposed to be a 1. Alright, so 1 and 1/3 would be your 5th grade answer. Both of those are correct, but 1 and 1/3 is the type of answer you'll be expected to have next year. Okay. Alright. Got to remember that fraction stuff. Now we're going to move into our lesson today, and I was going to show you this. I'm going to have to do some digging today because part of our lesson is something we need, and part of our lesson is not really necessary for 4th grade. So I just figured I would pull out what we need and I would leave alone what we don't. Okay, I can represent mixed numbers. We know what that is. With units of tens, ones, and tenths with place value discs. Okay, on the number line and in expanded form. Okay. One thing that I don't believe after I've gone back and done some checking is that the expanded form, we use expanded form. I don't think expanded form with decimals is something that's real big for 4th grade. I am going to show it to you today. I want you to know what it is in case it shows up somewhere. You can maybe remember, yeah, in case it shows up on a case test or something. I don't really think it should. After I went back and did some checking, and it really does not fall under 4th grade. Just in case, since we do have expanded form, I just don't think we have it into the decimals. But I'm going to just show you what it looks like because it's here. We're not going to spend a long time with the place value discs either. But we're just going to kind of start off with some of that, and then we'll move on. Okay? All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is ask you to put your whiteboard, the regular whiteboard, in front of you. Clean it off, put your marker away. You're going to use it right now as just a little workspace. Okay? I'm going to hand you a little bag. There are some papers in there, or maybe just one paper. It's got a big label on it too, which looks like paper. Those are some instructions for other things. Just leave that paper thing in there. Okay. The discs look like this, and they are different sizes and different colors. Are they different sizes? Yeah, they're just listen, please. Okay. I don't know. Maybe they're the same size. Maybe they're the same size, different color. But for some reason, from this angle, some of them look bigger. Anyway, they are marked with different amounts. So it's kind of like you're holding play money with different amounts, but it's really not play money. These are place value discs. So some are going to have ones on them. Some are going to have 0.001 on them. 0.1. Okay. They're not always marked with that 0 like we've been practicing, and probably, if I had to guess, because of space on here. A 0 would fit with this one, with the 0.1, but if you don't do that for one, you're probably not going to do for all of them. But once you get into all these zeros and all these digits, it's hard to fit. So, like there's 0.01. So anyway, some of these we won't use at all. Some of these we're going to pull out and work with just for a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to ask you, remember when we got those fraction pieces out? Same type of thing. Please be careful. They're little. Don't want to lose them. They're just easy to drop, and then, of course, these could roll and go up under something. So just be careful with them and keep them on your desk as best you can. And we'll be working with a couple different colors of these. Just leave them in the bag for right now. There's no need to pull them out. Go ahead and flip it to the white side. I think it will see it there. Let's just guess I get that one. It's got all kinds of colors. It's just a different set. No, you don't get that one. I'm giving y'all the one that has 72, not 126. Alright, just leave them in there. We don't need to pull them out just yet. They do feel just like the fraction discs. They're made of that foam stuff. Okay. Did I miss anybody over on that half of the line? Alright, you don't get one. Just kidding. I wouldn't pass them out if I didn't have enough for everyone. Okay, now, does everybody have one?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will be real honest, y'all. Y'all are the first group I've ever had pull these out.
Yay! Is that
I
good or
just-
bad?
Neither. I just never have, well, we've just done it in different ways. Some years I had a whole different set of charts and we used the manipulatives that were on the chart. You know, just different for different groups. But I know y'all can handle it. So, all right. You know, you can't do the same things every year sometimes because of that. Okay. What I want you to do first is to pull out hold on, let me find the color that's okay. You see that kind of goldish color? It's not really a true yellow, more like gold. I need you to pull out 21 of those.
21.
So I'm hoping there are 21 of that color in your bag. I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if there is that many.
I don't know. There's only one way to find out.
That, well, there might be two here. Let's see. I just got to look at these. I was like, why haven't I pulled these out? So
There's
it
70
was
discs.
just time. So you guys are kind of exploring these with me. Okay. And if you don't get 21, we may just create our own numbers for this instead of using what's on the chart. Because I really don't want to mix the bags together. 2 hours later.
We might get to 21. I just dump them all out.
That took so long today.
11. What? 12. I think I only got 7.
I don't know. Some of y'all have a really big pile.
13.
If it's easier, hey, if it's easier to do this, to dump them out and put them in by color into stacks on your desk. We're not going to use several of these colors, but if that's easier, same for that. Be careful with that.
I saw it roll off.
Again, haven't used these a lot, so I'm kind of learning with you right here.
I only have 18. Yeah, that's what I have.
That's fine. If that's what happens, that's what happens. But
I only have 18 too.
okay, I need you to be using this whiteboard. Okay, so let's get this
I only have 18 too.
out of the way. Okay, this is away.
They look like Fortnite.
So this is kind of like your workspace.
Not really.
You see what I mean? That this is your workspace. Like, let them sit on here. Yeah. Okay.
I have 19. You don't have 19. You miscount. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. All of them have 18. Same.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
got it.
Well, then you got.
Yep.
There's only
Yeah, that's
there's
what I
never
have. All
been
these
recounted.
You only got
I recounted more.
How many? 16, 17, 18. Okay, that's probably the top. Okay. So I'm gonna adjust here just a little bit, and then I can just show you the one that's on the board, which was supposed to match
Yeah, I
what
miscounted.
you had, but I'll just show you that one in a minute as another example. Okay. So I'm hearing there are 18. Okay. So if you would take the purple, the red, the brown, move them off of your whiteboard. You just leave them in a pile. Just slide them off. Okay. The only ones I want on your whiteboard right now are the gold colored ones. Okay. You're just gonna have to move them off into a pile. Okay. We just don't have time right now to. Yeah. Just move them off. One big swoop.
On the whiteboard? Or this is what I've done. I just put
That one right there on the floor. Okay. So on your, let's do this. Since yours is not gonna, why did I do that? I actually just need that.
saving out now. Our phone.
Okay. How much work did y'all do yesterday?
A lot. There's another one down there.
Okay. Go. I want to stop. Okay. On your whiteboard, this is what I want you to have. So, listen to me. Take that stack or group of the gold color and slide them off of the whiteboard, like right beside it. Because our whiteboard is going to become our workspace for just the ones we want on there. Okay. So, let me think. A good number we could work with is, let's put 17 on there in rows of 5. Okay. So yours are this color. Okay, should look like that. Alright. Once you've done that, take your hands off of all those pieces. Okay. Alright. So, need your hands. Okay, because they don't have to be perfectly perfect. Okay. You have 17 of these. I've changed our numbers. Is there a way? Well, hold on. What's written on these? Why did I pick these? What's written on them? 0.1. Okay, hold on. Let's make sure we get that. 0.1 is what's written on this. What is that the same as that we've been saying the last few days? Yeah. It's the same as 0.1. So make sure you know that. You don't always have to write that 0. It's been helping us remember that whole numbers go right here. Okay, so here's my question. What is this equal to that you have on your board? How many are there?
17.
There are 17. There's
3.2.
No, I kind of get what you did, but how many of these gold discs does it take to make one hole? Let's make sure we get that. Yeah, it takes 10 of them. Okay, because each one of these, I know that says 0.1 or 0.1, but what's the other name for that? 0.1 or 1/10. It's right after the decimal, isn't it? So this is 1/10, 4.1. It has two names. Who did I steal this from? Okay. It takes 10 of them. It takes 10 tenths. We know that to make one whole. Is there a way to make what? It would be 1.7. Okay. Mason thinks it would be 1.7. Kind of threw that out there. Does anybody agree with that? Okay, very possibly. Is there a way to do 1.7 with less discs? Yes, there is. Now first, let's do a little separating. How can we do this with less discs? What are we going to have to do? Look at some of your other discs. It might mean that we're replacing some of these with another color. Okay? Think about that. Think about what I might mean. All right. Charlotte's holding up a red 1. Why? What do you think we could do with that? Because you're definitely on the right way of thinking. I just wonder if you can put it into words. Help her out. Doesn't equal it. But how many do I need to equal it? What did we just say? How many of these is going to make? 10 of these gold ones is going to make one red one. 10 tenths is equal to one whole. Okay, so can you separate? Can you kind of push 10 of these maybe up and put a little separation here between those two groups? Because 2 of our rows of 5, that's 10. Just kind of push them up higher on your board and separate those two groups. Okay? This right here, don't run away from me, is 10 tenths, isn't it? Okay, I know you don't have a marker, and that's fine. I'm just showing it on the board. 10 of those is 10 tenths, which is equal to one whole. So would you pull those 10 tenths off of your board and put in its place one whole? Pull those 10 tenths that are yellow, those gold ones, off of your board and put in its place the one whole, the one red piece. Okay, see, this is much more efficient to show 1 and 7 tenths or 1.7 because we can take all of these and change this to one red one. So now you have one red one and 7 tenths. You see that? Okay. All right, so let's do this just one more time. You can move your discs off your board. I'm a little limited. I was hoping we had more of the yellow. I can't do as large of a number as I was hoping to do, but that's okay. Let's try, can somebody give me a number that would work, that we have enough discs to show? Because we're going to start with all yellow discs. Isabella, what do you think? No, don't say it out loud. I want you to. What do you think? Okay, grab that. If I ever see you all, I hope y'all not losing. All right, so would you put 12 of your gold colored discs in rows of 5s? Why am I asking you to put them in rows of 5s, you think?
Because
What do you think? Yeah, it's just an easy way to help us count up quickly to 10. So spread them out where you can see them. We're going to have 12 of them, but we're going to put them in rows of 5. How many rows of 5 will we have? 2 full rows, right? That looks like a different yellow. Oh, it's the same, I guess. Because 2 full rows is 10, and then we'll have how many more? 2 more. Okay. All of these again are tenths. So what number do we have on our board right now if you have 12 of these gold pieces? What number do we have, Amy? Think of it this way, how many tenths do we have? Okay, I'm off. What? How many gold discs do you have? 12. Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Right now, guys, we have 12 tenths. I want you to see how this number changes. Okay? We have 12 tenths. If I wanted to change that to a mixed number, what would it turn into? You know, like if I did the number bond. Mason? Yeah, because 10 tenths and 2 tenths. It would turn into 1 and 2 tenths. Okay? Can you separate the 10 from the 2? Can you put a little distance between the group of 10 and the group of 2? Keep them in those rows of 5 because that makes it easy to see. Just separate. There you go. Pull the 2 down so they're separate. Can you now see that on your board? Can you see the 1 and 2 tenths? How many tenths does it take to make one whole? Let me hear that again. Alex, how many tenths does it take to make one whole? 10 of them. And so here you've got 10. We've got 1 and 2 tenths. Okay? How do I write 1 and 2 tenths? How do I write that as a decimal? What would it look like? What would it look like? 1.2. Okay? Can you take off those 10 and replace them with what they're equal to? Take off those 10 tenths and replace them with what they're equal to. Take off the 10 tenths and replace them with what they're equal to. If I took off all of these, I need a squeegee. Like those things they clean your windshield with. So you just go zoop, you know. Alright, and so we're going to replace it. And I see a lot of you have already done that with the red one, which is equal to 1 whole. Okay? But look, a lot easier to just use 3 discs. I need your eyes, guys. A lot easier to just use 3 discs to show this instead of 12. Okay? What if all I have is 12? That's okay. But I also want you to see what it's equal to. 1 and 2 tenths, 1 and 2 tenths, or 1.2. Okay? Alright, so that's really all we're going to do with these for right now. We might pull them out another day. If you would carefully put them all back in the bag and then just check the floor, check your desk, make sure they didn't bounce into there. Okay. Sometimes just putting our hands on something like this might make it clearer for somebody what we're working with. All right, don't be last here. You got about 30 seconds. Get them in the bag. Yep, y'all are good like that. Down to 20.
I'm done.
Check the floor. See, once you take that paper out, man, it's all over. Can't get it back in.
You want me to go back around your bag?
All right. Alright, so have your bag closed. If you would pinch it closed so it doesn't spill out in my bigger bag. You know, that little Ziploc closure up the top. Okay. And mine's going to be the one to spill. All right, let me have your bag.
5 and 4, 32. But it is easy. It is easy. What if? If you know how to do it.
Y'all step up and take his place.
Okay, let me take it.
All right.
Nobody can. I have gained 3 brain cells.
Oh no. Oh
It's
no.
still got mine.
Even close. Yeah, please don't think this is the end of the lesson. We're pretty much just getting started.
And it's already
Okay. Well, you know what? If you're gonna put your hands on things like manipulatives, they do take a little bit of time, and that's okay. All right. So let me jump in here. All right, the one example that they had given that we were going to look at, we were going to try to do, we were close, we just didn't have 21. So let's see, let's use that color. Okay. They had 21. So if these are all tenths, I can take these two groups of 10 and replace them, couldn't I? Okay. Each of those groups of 10 is worth how much, Brandon?
2.
2 wholes, right? So 1 whole right here, 1 whole right here, that's 2, and then the 1/10 that's left over. So 2 and 1/10, how would I write that as a decimal? 2.1. Okay. All right, so that was just one more quick example. We would have done that one on our board had we had enough. Okay. All right, so I'm traveling all day. Yeah, we were just going to copy the board. Okay. Now we're going to see some place value discs. We're not going to do anything with them. We're just going to watch this because what they're leading up to is the expanded form. And I just want you to see it. We're not going to do it today. I'm going to leave it off of the problem set, but I want you to see it at least once so that if it ever comes around, you kind of know at least what it is. How much are each of these discs worth? I hope you can see that number. Faith, what's the number on each of those red discs? 10. So, what is the total value of all 4 of those together? What's the total value of all 4 of those together? No, they're not 4 wholes. What? 40. Okay. 10, 20, 30, 40. What is a multiplication sentence? Write on your whiteboard a multiplication sentence. To show that. Okay, and hold it up and let me see from everybody. Yeah, I love it when I can see from everybody. Yeah, this is simple. I'm not asking you to do anything tricky here. This is basic. Okay, let's not do that. Some of you had this, and some of you had this. Are those pretty much the same thing?
Yes.
They're exactly the same, just the order has been changed. Okay, so this is pretty simple for us. What about this? What is the total value of those 2 discs? Is this tough?
No.
I need to be very quiet in here so we can think. So would you please write a multiplication sentence for this?
Oh, wait. Oh. What are you doing?
Okay, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I mean by that is let's not go at each other. Take that. Okay. What is a multiplication sentence that could go with this? Show me. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. 1 times 2 is equal to 2, or 2 times 1 is equal to 2. Now, I haven't forgotten that we've been doing decimals. I know that. We're leading up to that, guys. Okay. Now, if I wanted to put these together, y'all remember expanded notation. Remember how we would have this ginormous number. Let me have your eyes. And we would have to, like if it, 4 times 40,000 plus 3 times 1,000. And it would be really long. It's called expanded form. Remember that? All right, so they have just got the beginnings of this for you. 4 times 10 plus, what would that be right there? Yeah. 2 times 1. You're multiplying the digit times the place value that it is. Okay. Well, what if we have this? What if we have a 0.1 in a number? What if we have a large number or any size number and it has a decimal with it? How do we show that with expanded form? Okay. That's the part we don't know. So let's try this on our board. What if you had 6 of these green discs that say 0.1? How would you write that as multiplication? Now hold on, I don't want you to do it yet. What would you say? It is 6 times 1/10. And a lot of you might write 6 times 0.1. Let me tell you, the multiplication with the decimals like that is coming, but not this year. So what's another way to write 1/10? Right here. And don't we know how to do this? Yeah. You can write it this way and still get the same value for your answer. And then we can change it back to a decimal if we need to. Let's lay our board down, okay? So 6 times 1/10 is equal to 6/10. You don't need your marker right now. Just listen. So guys, if you're given a number, okay, look at how they've done this. This is actually the number. They don't usually give us our numbers all spread out with discs. Okay, so this number is 41.12345 6. Okay. We're talking about discs today. They use discs, but usually we just get a number. What if I asked you to write that in expanded form? Would you know what to do? Not at first, not before right now. We know how to do the 40. Did I write 41 and that's really 42?
Yeah.
What is it about that little one that's throwing us off today?
Oh, no.
We're all having trouble with it. Okay, sorry about that. So, y'all know how to write the 42 part like this. 4 times 10, 2 times 1. But if you have decimals, all you're going to need to do is go, okay, this is 6. That's the digit right there. Times, those are tenths. So write it as a fraction. That is the correct way to do it. Could you also do it with probably 0.1? Yeah. But save that for 5th grade. Okay. Let's just do it our way that we know. Okay. Just know that that's at least one of the ways you can do it. Okay. I just wanted you to see that. That's all that is. Because if we multiplied that and we got 42 and 6/10, let's say we got 42 and 6/10. Let me ask you something. Could you take that and write it as a decimal? Yeah, y'all know how to do that now. 42.6. 42 and 6/10. Okay. So we're not going to spend a lot more time than that right there on expanded form with decimals, but I wanted you to see it at least once. Okay. So we are moving along, and this is where we're moving to. Okay. I need you to pull out your workbook because we're going to pull out a different template for today for this. A lot of different things going on today. I am not sure of I've been looking at it in my teacher book, so I'm not sure of the page number. But it goes along with lesson 3. So usually, a lot of times it's at the back, but it'll say template at the top. Probably in the teens, if I had to guess. The pages that are like 12, 13, 14. Does it say that it's blank on the back? Yeah. Yeah, and as long as it says template at the top and it'll say that it's left blank on purpose intentionally, You'll
Yep.
pull, what'd you say, 15? Okay. Pull out page 15, and we're going to slide it into our, now watch this. Y'all know how we used our area model yesterday? Let that keep showing. Put the new template on the other side so that you can see both of those. Does that make sense? You're gonna put them like back to back. Okay. Clear out page 15, and you're gonna slide it in here on the other side. Not covering this up, but covering up this. Okay. Slide that in there, and now we have that template to work with also. All right, what do you see on this template? Charlotte, what do you see?
And it says number.
Okay, we got a number line. Anything else on there? Yeah.
Decimal form.
Well, it's a big chart, isn't it? Let's just put it all together. It's a big chart, and part of that chart we will do, and part of that chart we will not do. But we're going to start with a number line. So on my slide, I've just got the number line part, and yours is just up at the top. Okay. Now, usually I don't like to hand you a number line. One, because our markers don't fit some of these things that are drawn for us too well. Also, it is good practice for you to have to create that number line. But, you know, because sometimes we got to figure out how to set the number line up. But this number line is already set one way. And why is that okay with decimals? What do you think? What do you think?
Because one whole is 10.
Okay. How many parts are we going to cut this into? 10 pieces. 10 pieces. Now later on, we are going to get into some hundreds, and you talk about small, and I don't like the templates for those things because think about hundreds on a number line. Yeah. Yeah. But we still need to see it and practice it. Yeah.
Well, we ever write, if we got in hundred, will we ever write the spaces between?
Probably not.
Okay.
If we're going to do that, we're going to do like one problem that day. Because that one problem is going to take us a long time. All right. So we're going to use this number line for a little bit. I've got one, in, like I said, in front of me. All right. I know what I want you to find. I want to make sure I'm not jumping over anything else. All right, so if I gave you this number, let me write it up here in the corner. If I gave you 4.1, where would that go on the, oh, your number line is different. I'm sorry. I need to have you label a little bit. Go to your number line. We're going to set it up, make sure that it has these whole numbers. So put 0 at underneath the very first little hash mark. The bigger one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to count all the way to 5, the whole number 5. Now it's much easier to plot or put on the number line 4.1. Where do you think that would go? Look at your number line. Go ahead and put it on there where you think it would go. And then I'm going to mark mine too.
Make a dot.
Yeah, make a dot there. Did you borrow one? Oh, yeah, just all right, where'd you put it? Tell me how to get to where I need to put mine. Bailey, how'd you know where to put it? Did you go to a certain whole number first? Okay, guys, go to that whole number first. Right here, and then how much further? Just one of those little tenths. And from what I could see, and again, we're working with these big markers, and it makes it hard sometimes to get real exact. That looks like where you put yours. You would go for not 1.4, 4.1. 4.1, put the 4 first. Okay, so we're going to go to 4 first. And then we're going to go one more line further. Okay, was that hard? No. One of the big things with a number line and decimals is you just need to realize we're working with tenths. That's our denominator. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're kind of towards the end here. I do need you to see though this chart. Let me see. Is your chart? Which one make it? Okay. We're going to use the chart right now. It's a good thing it's right below your number line. We're going to do everything with what we need to do. The timing is impeccable. Okay. Guys, I need you to do this very quickly. Shh. I need you to get out your new workbook, and I need you to tear out page 15. You're going to put that into your, that whiteboard that we slide pages into. Okay, so you guys work on getting there. All right, the rest of us, I need your eyes up here. This chart, you're going to see a chart like it in your problem set. I want you to know what to do with it. Okay? They start with a number line. Okay, we're going to put 4.1 on a number line again. But we have this itty-bitty number line, and there's only a place for 2 whole numbers. So if we're going to put 4.1 on the number line, what 2 whole numbers do we need? Look at your number line. The dot that you put on there, what 2 whole numbers is it between? 4 and 5. Because it's a little bit bigger than 4, but it's not quite as big as 5. So we're going to put 4 and 5 there. Now that 4 and 5 are there, is it easy to plot 4.1? Yeah. All right, guys, I'm doing this with you, so work with me, please. The 4 and the 5 are on there. Now I want you to put a dot where 4.1 is. Right there. 4 and 1/10, or 4.1. You don't have to draw this number line, it's already there. Do y'all not have it already painted? Okay, do you see how my board does? Yeah. And that's why I'm sitting here going, I feel like y'all are looking at me like, what are you doing? Okay. Every now and then, every now and then there's a slight difference in some of these things that we use. And so it takes a minute for us to realize they're different. Okay. I apologize. You will need to make a little number line there and cut it into 10 pieces. So let me give you a minute to do that, because that takes just a few seconds. All right, down where we are. We're going to draw 4 on one side and 5 on the other. Just like I've got the And you see what I'm talking about? How with this, especially if you've got a big marker, cutting this into 10 pieces is hard. It is. It's hard to see. It's do the best you can. When you get to your problem set, maybe that's what I was looking at too this morning. I think it's already drawn on there for you, so it makes it a whole lot easier. Plus, you're using a pencil with a a pointy little point there. Yeah, it's already on there. Okay. So you've got your number line and you've got 4.1 with a dot on it. Because if we've cut this number line into 10 pieces, 4.1 is really 4 and 1/10. Right? Okay. All right. All right, I've already helped you here. Decimal form of the number. 4 4.1. Not 4.5, 4.1. Okay. What does the next column say? What does it say?
This is mixed number, ones and fractions form.
Do we know how to write 4.1 as a fraction? Martin, come around, please. Yeah, so let's write that as a fraction. 4 and what's going to go with that? 1/10, because that 0.1 is the same as 1/10. This has been super tough so far. We missed you. You know what, Faith was it you? She said, Ishmael's not here to say that decimals are easy. He's back now, so he can. Okay, you're going to love this next box, I think, because you get to do this. Okay, please don't scratch it out, make a big, just zoop, zoop, done. Okay. Now, I've got this in the way. What does the next column say? Now,
How much more is needed to get to the next one?
okay, y'all listen to me. You may get this, but let me have your eyes for just a second. Your number line's going to help you. And if you know the number 10, if you were paying attention back in 1st and 2nd grade, you are good to go. This is why. This is why. Look at that number line. How much more do we need from 4.1 to get to 5? We're trying to get to the next whole number. So if we've already got 0.1, what do we need to get all the way to the 5? So here's the big question. What is 1 plus what equals 10? Because you got to have all 10 pieces. Who was paying attention in 1st grade? 1 plus what is 10? Yeah. 9. Ishmael, say it. Decimals are what?
Decimals are easy.
That's right.
That was so easy.
It was. It was. Okay. So if I have 1/10, I need 9/10 to get to the next whole number. Well, we're going to write it like a decimal. We're not going to write it like a fraction. So what does 9/10 look like as a decimal? If it's like this as a... It's like this.
You have no eraser.
Well, thank you. If it looks like this as a fraction,
9 point.
what is it going to look like as a decimal? Go ahead.
9.1. I mean, 1.9.
Mm-mm. You're very close, but you're adding too much to it. 0.9, okay? You were giving me a whole number with it. We don't need that whole number, okay? All right. So, I'm going to give you one more number. And I'm going to let you do all of this. You don't have, we don't have to do any of this, okay? But I'm going to see if we can get the rest of those boxes filled in. So if I gave you the number 8.7, could you fill in the rest of those boxes? And I just want you to try, and then we're going to talk about them and see if you are on target there. Okay? The number is 8.7. So you're going to draw a little number line. You're going to write it as a fraction. And you're going to write how much more you need to get to the next whole number. Number line's tough. Number line's tough just because of fitting it in there. And, well, I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds. And then we'll see what we got. when you do your number line, how many pieces did you cut it into? 10, even though it was hard to squish in there. Okay, now here's maybe the trickiest question about the number line. What number did you put on either side? What whole number did you put on either side? Because you have to be able to fit this, in between them. All right?
8.
Okay, don't yell it out. What'd you put? 8 and 9. Okay, and where did your dot go? Can you describe to me where to put it? Yeah.
1 point before the 9.
1 point before the 9? One little mark before the 9? That would be 8.9. So not 1 before it.
3.
3 before it. Okay. Because it's got to be at 8.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 8.7. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you got to remember it's tenths. And for so long we've had so many different denominators, and now we've just got to remember to stick with that one. That's 10. Okay. What does the fraction look like, everybody?
8, 7, 10.
That's probably our favorite box. That's super easy, isn't it? Okay. Now, if you are at 8 and 7/10, how many more tenths do you need to go to get to the next whole number? 0.3. Because I know, and you know, 7 and 3 is equal to. 7 and 3 is equal to, everybody? Oh, wow. 7 and 3 is equal to. And we don't have to count that up anymore. We know that. 8 plus 2 is what?
10.
5 plus 5 is what?
10.
4 plus 6 is what?
7.
6 plus 4 is what?
10.
1 plus 9 is what?
10.
9 plus 1 is what?
10.
Okay, you have to just know those at this point, okay? 0 plus 10 is, forgot that one. Okay. Let's clear off this whiteboard. And let's put our markers in both whiteboards away. I'm going to give you a few seconds longer to do that because you're going to snap this lovely thing back into your lovely binder and make it all lovely and not smushed and gross stuffed inside your desk.
Again, that's illegal.
Alright, don't relax. You're going to have it packed away in 15, 14, 13, 12, 11,
Don't use the magic
10,
wand on me.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5,
Don't use the magic wand.
1.5. Throw that in there.
I don't get the magic wand used on me.
0.5.
0.
0.5.
You said
Okay.
that.
Now, you do need your workbook out on your desk. Okay? Now, we're going to take our break. We're going to come back, and I am going to have to really walk you through what we are doing and not doing on our problem set today. So, go ahead and line it up.